Welcome to Rage Quit Radio, your tabletop gaming podcast on the ECS network. This is Mike, one of your hosts. I'm joined by
Dennis,
Chris,
and Justin.
Same crew you heard on our return to the airwaves on our previous episode, probably because we're recording this like 5 minutes later, and the entire time Dennis and Justin have been gushing about Infinity. So, and Chris has had this look on his face like he couldn't care less. So, but on this episode, we are making a departure from miniatures gaming, and we are diving into the realm of the deck building game. We are going to be playing Upper Deck's Marvel Legendary. This is one of Chris's absolute favorite deck building games that he doesn't get to play often enough, which is a lot of our faults. I blame that largely because that game is a bitch to set up and a bitch to take down. But it's a lot of fun in the meantime.
This game is fantastic.
That's true.
So, a little bit of on deck building games. I think three of us here are either intimately or quasi-familiar with them, and the cheating Asian is scouring the rule book trying to figure out a way to cheat, I'm sure.
What's a deck?
Yeah. So, Dennis, do you have any experience with card games at all? In a typical table, I don't mean pinochle. In a typical tabletop gaming.
Well, let me tell you a story.
I think we broke Chris.
When I was young, we would play all sorts of deck card, normal card games, and I would play my sister, who was some sort of savant at card games, and I would lose every game, and I would be okay with that, but she would, I don't know, what's the word?
Traumatized
me. Yeah, she traumatized me with the card games because not because she beat me every single time. She didn't really gloat. Not because she beat me every time, but because of how badly she beat me.
She dominated you.
Just dominated me all the time. So whenever somebody says card game, I'm like, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
So, but these card games, I've recently played, just testing out some card games, and that's kind of fun. I like the command games, the War Machine High Command. Mm-hmm. That was kind of fun. I didn't really get into it because not too many people were playing that game too much. And then some of the legendary games I've played as well. Some deck building games Chris has introduced me to. So it's something that I'm interested in trying and getting into.
So you're familiar with Legendary in a broad sense because you've played Legendary Encounters, which is the Aliens version.
Right, the Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
That game is fantastic.
That game's fun.
That game is fantastic.
Well, to not burst your bubble on that one, this is not really cooperative unless you make it that way.
Yeah, this is.
That means I can screw everybody over.
Yeah,
correct.
Yes,
very much.
So, Justin, you like deck building games. You've been getting into these a little lately.
I absolutely love deck building games. Love them.
Okay. So, what do you like about them? Which ones have you played that you really like?
Well, all of mine have been the DC and obviously Legendary Villains, the Alien Encounters, and then the Lord of the Rings set 1 and 2. Got to play 1 at a store. They had it open, an open box. They just let me play. Just some random place. I can't remember the name of it. I was driving by and I was like, "Oh, is that a game store? Let me go in here real quick." And they're like, "We have an open box policy. If there's no tape on it, you can open it and play it." And I was like, "I want to try the first set." And I was like, everybody. I pulled it up and two guys were like, "Do you want to play that?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I just worked my way over to the table. But anyway. I'm not good at them.
Says the guy that rolled me and Chris earlier today at DC.
Correct.
I don't know, but there's something about it. I guess it's because I was a Yu-Gi-Oh player for a very long time.
We're not going to hold that against you.
You should, because Yu-Gi-Oh is...
No, not really.
But there's something about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh has effect cards, and it's a lot of synergy.
Right.
And there's a lot of let me just bleed my deck and wreck you in one turn kind of setup. So this is what this is like, except for I have to build my deck up to that, and that's what really gets me going. That's really what catches my interest.
Chris, how about you? I mean, this is your baby. This is your favorite deck building game, as far as I know.
Let's hear that.
Yeah.
So, You've got every damn thing they've put out for it. You have to carry it in more than one box.
Which I need to take from your advice to eventually buy that stupid $25.
It's 50 total.
50 total, but
yeah. Broken Token, awesome place, make great inserts. Anyway,
yeah, pretty much.
Is that wood box you were talking about that one time?
It's what's in his DC box that was made for the DC game.
I have the insert in my DC box, the Cryptozoic insert, where it's a wooden insert you put into the box. It's basically, it's not balsa wood, MDF I think it's called, but they use that. But they've actually made one. You can go to Hobby Lobby. You can get the $25 artist case. You empty it out. They make an insert for that makes it basically a giant card suitcase.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I would invest in that if I had nearly as much as what this guy has.
I intend to invest in it, but continue, sir.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I will. I like the Marvel Universe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, sure, let's see what this got. Now, the day we had the game day at Planet, when this was like the freshest deck building game at the time, because I mean it had not been out long when we did that game day, and we did the base game. It was kind of cool how we saw a lot of the synergies because the cards of each character, because instead of like the DC game where you have one everybody plays a central hero that has a power that you use, nobody has a central character. It's a group of heroes come together to help save the day.
Yeah.
And us as the players recruit Wolverine, Spider-Man, Deadpool, whoever happens to be in the pool to their team to help fight. This is being a semi-cooperative game. We all are trying to beat the mastermind.
Emphasis on the word semi.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all trying to beat the mastermind to win the game. However,
one of us will win the game.
One of us will actually win the game. In order to be that way, some of these cards are actually meant to be against other players more than against the villain that you're trying to fight.
So, okay, because I don't know very much about card games, like what's a deck. So, this is what's called a deck building game, right?
Right.
So then the cards come with the game, and you don't have to buy more cards to play the game.
No.
Unless there's like an expansion that you want to include or something like that.
Correct.
Some quick definitions.
Okay.
Card games. You have deck building games. You have what I call fixed card games. You have living card games. You have collectible card games. Okay? Collectible card games are your Magics, your Yu-Gi-Ohs, your Pokemons, your L5Rs, used to be. These are the games where you buy a starter deck, you bring your deck, I'll bring mine, but you're going to have to buy baseball card-like packs and get random stacks of cards, praying you get what you need, or trade around. The trading part with other people is as much a part of the game as the game itself, really.
So that's where you go to eBay and spend $300 on a card.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, a living card game
It's
is
very serious.
the living card game is the evolution of the CCG, collectible or trading card game concept. The living card game is your, to an extent, your High Command, your Deadlands Doomtown. The most famous ones are probably like, Star Wars or Game of Thrones or some of those living card games. A living card game, which for the record, living card game, I guess I should say this, living card game is a trademark term of Fantasy Flight Games. So I am not using it in the trademark sense. A non-collectible card game, we'll call it.
Yeah.
This type of game is one where you buy a base set. Everything you need to play with every faction is in that base set. And typically speaking, you will get a full play set of a card. So let's say the maximum number of copies of card Y that you can have in a deck is 3. Well, you will get 3 copies of that card. There is no collecting to it.
Yeah.
When they come out with an expansion, you will get a full play set of every card in that expansion. It's like buying a factory set.
So there's no hunting for
Correct.
what you need.
Yeah, everything's right there. Like, it's pretty much buy and go.
Yeah. Now, those games tend to have smaller expansion sets, but they tend to come out rapid fire, like one a month or every 2 months.
Oh yeah.
So they
That's
still
where they get that money in.
Yeah.
Now, a fixed card game, as I would call it, is something like Sentinels of the Multiverse or Red Dragon Inn or something of this nature, where you buy the game, this deck is for this character or this villain. It never changes. There's no building to it. There's no random factor to it. This is it and all it's ever going to be. And that's that. You're done. LCG, non-collectible card game, you build your deck, I build mine, but it's a fixed pool. Mm-hmm. No having to trade back and forth. This is your deck, and it's always going to be your deck, and we're done. Again, games like that will tend to have expansions. Red Dragon Inn, for instance, I think just dropped its 5th expansion. They have numerous single-character mini-expansions. Sentinels of the Multiverse does the same sort of thing, where they've had multiple expansions over the years, and they have a certain number of certain mini-expansions for certain decks. Then you have a deck-building game. Deck-building games start with the granddaddy of them all, which is Dominion. Mm-hmm. And a deck-building game is, again, everything you need is in the one box. Mm-hmm. If you want to add to it, you buy expansions, and it usually it does exactly what it says. It expands what can happen in that game. But in a deck-building game, you are given a fixed number of cards. Everyone gets the same types of cards. And then, as the game progresses, a key mechanic of the game is actually building your deck as you go. So the cards that you buy from the lineup, the headquarters, whatever the term they use is, go into your discard pile where they will eventually filter into your deck and make your deck better.
Yeah, they get reshuffled in.
Yeah. So, I love deck building games most out of the bunch of all the different types because it is actually the deck building that I always like about card games. I love playing Magic because I love building my decks. I get a certain similar thrill out of playing LCGs, but the only one that I really play is Deadlands Doomtown, and I don't know anyone else that plays it. So I've got 4 decks and nobody to play with. So, but eventually I will teach people here. Because we'll do an episode about it, and y'all will have to learn.
Forced into I'm going to be sick that day.
But sorry, man, I gotta go to work.
I'll be here. It's okay.
Truthfully, what we do
go grocery shopping with me.
Oh, there we go.
That was my wife, folks. So, that's a new development for the Rage Quit Radio audience. Since we were on hiatus, I got married. So,
yep. Yay!
You will find that voice familiar. That was the same lady that was part of the Peanut Gallery at Iron Painter at GnomeCon.
Oh,
that is my wife, Kana.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
Where she co-hosted with Dennis and Chris.
Which was amazing, by the way. Up until I unplugged your computer and it was like, no.
But anyway, folks, no, deck building games, though, I thoroughly enjoy. A lot of fun. Legendary is one of the ones that I can expound many virtues upon, but we're going to save that for after we play a game. So,
indeed,
we're going to take a...
Well, actually, real quick, as we're starting the game off, just to kind of have an idea of what we're getting into, this is the base set, which had its most problems in the new game. So, as much as I would love to put out a lot of the expansion pieces, we're going to keep it basic. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of whether or not this may be a game for you down the line when we explain it later on.
Yeah, we are looking specifically at the base game Marvel Legendary. We will do later discussions where we will work in the items from the various expansions, so that way you kind of get an idea, expansion by expansion, of what's new, what's different, and so on. So, with that in mind, folks, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will have just gotten done playing a little Marvel Legendary. Stick around, more RQR in just a moment. Alright, everybody, welcome back to Rage Quit Radio. We just got done playing Marvel Legendary and picking up a stray.
Yay!
So,
Meow.
Not you, Dennis.
Damn it.
I thought I could live here now.
I've seen your house. Why would you want it?
They have enough angry cats.
Dennis, Chris and Justin and myself all sat down and played Legendary, and just in time for the game to end, in walked a fellow cast member, on again, off again, from Electric City Sentai Denzi Caster. Introduce yourself to the Rage Quit audience.
My name is Josh. You've seen me on Denzi Caster. Woot woot!
We've missed that on Denzi Caster. We certainly have. So, various people have tried. Very few have succeeded.
Correct.
With Josh Crawford's catchphrase on Denzi Caster. Real quick, give you, if you would, Josh, just to reintroduce, because when we kicked off Rage Quit Radio on the ECS network here on YouTube, we have also rebooted the show. So technically, we are on episode 2, even though there were like 50 some odd episodes before if you counted off the spinoffs and such.
Reboots.
Well, we promised not to
AD.
we promised not to do as many as DC.
Fair enough.
No, think about it. This is a reboot
52.
HD for us.
HD.
Yeah, HD for us.
We're in HD now.
So you would say this is the all new, all different podcast.
Nothing's
Out of my
blurry
house.
anymore.
Anyway, real quick, since this is your first appearance on either version of Rage Quit Radio that I'm aware of anyway.
That is correct, sir.
So, just real quick, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your gaming pedigree.
Well, basically, I cut my teeth at a very young age with stuff, like Monopoly, the game of life, which is so much better than actual life. I realized that at a very young age, and pretty much have been playing. And then I got to more niche gaming experiences with board games, very much like all the Cryptozoic card games. Love very complex micromanagement board games. The ones where a single game they tell you it takes 2 hours and they are lying to you.
That would be Firefly.
Yes. Love Firefly.
That is one where we will have to set aside not just a day, because we're recording multiple episodes on a single game day. That is one where that will be the only episode we get done.
Wow.
Because it'll take that long to play the damn game.
And also, we should make sure that we get in touch with Dave and Kayla for that, because they have every expansion for Firefly.
Right. So, for this, folks, and Josh and I have known each other for 20 years.
Give or take, ever since I was in 10th grade. So
yeah. I think I was 14 when we met. Mm-hmm. I'm 34, so yeah, 20 years, and we met through Magic the Gathering.
Oh, cool.
Oddly enough, so
It seems to be a card game everyone has at least talked about or dabbed into at some point.
I've touched the cards before.
Yeah, who's dabbed?
I've been in the same room as I've never owned any, nor have I played.
I played Magic Hardcore back in the day, but I parted ways with the cardboard crack, and never again shall I go back.
Yes, exactly. We have found our way to much better games. So, with all that said, we just got done playing Marvel Legendary. Josh has played more than his fair share. Now, for the sake of this discussion, as we mentioned beforehand, this is just the base set we have played. So we have not played any of the expansions, not Villains, not Paint the Town Red, not Secret Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy, none of that stuff. Just the base Legendary game, because we'll go back through in later episodes and go through the expansions and so on and so forth. So we're probably going to wind up talking a whole lot about Legendary on the show at different points. So, Chris, it's your game, so it's your show.
Oh, yay.
Don't act like you've never hosted Rage Quit Radio before.
All right, folks. So, in all seriousness, the base set.
Just me, or did he just become a character from like Fat Albert?
But like Mike had said, we pretty much have done the base game where we only have 4 villains to pretty much choose from: Red Skull, Magneto, Loki, or Doctor Doom. In this case, we decided to go with Doctor Doom with the randomizer I have on my phone. Doom! And, yeah, pretty much. We had Gambit, Rogue, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, and Thor as our heroes to fight against him.
How many heroes are actually in just the base game? Do you know off the top of your head?
14.
Okay, so there are 14 heroes in just the base game. You'll play with 5 of them in any given game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 5 of them in any given game, unless you're playing with 5 players and it moves up to 6.
Okay, and then you have 4 masterminds in the base game.
Yes.
So, the gist of it, which we went over briefly beforehand. So, there's a mastermind, He's got his plan going on, his master plan, and it'll mix and match. There's not any one plan attached to any one mastermind. They can be mix and match. Mm-hmm. You have the team of heroes. There's a grouping of villains, some of which are required because that's who works specifically for that villain. Others can be random.
Yep.
And the idea is to beat the mastermind 4 times before either the villain deck runs out, ending the game in a draw, the hero deck runs out, ending the game in a draw, or the scheme occurs, whatever it is. And so if any of those 3 things happen, the bad guy wins. If you get beat the bad guy 4 times, then everybody wins unless you want to be, competitive, in which case one of you is going to win more than everyone else did.
Correct.
We're all
and
winners. It's just one of us is the super winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're the Avengers in the 70s, but one of us is Cap.
Well, in this case, we would lose the game if 8 bystanders were escaped.
Yes.
We're taken with the escaped.
Because Dr. Doom in this case was doing a midtown bank robbery at which they're taking bystanders with them to make their escape. So, as...
Fool!
No.
Doom did not kidnap them. He took them to a better way of life in Latveria.
Fair enough. But in this case, we started off fairly rocky because we let a Doombot pretty much have 5 bystanders.
So he's just grabbing them up by the fistful.
Seven bystanders skipped town before we beat up anybody.
Not to mention,
Love this.
not to mention they also gained 1 extra fight for every bystander that he had. So we had like an 8 fight.
So you're looking at a Doombot who's a basic henchman gump that's 3 fight to beat, which you can do fairly early on in the game.
Yeah.
But okay, next person's turn, bystander. Okay, that happened. All right, now we're up to 4. Next turn we moved up. Nobody could beat anything yet. So next turn where it's like, oh, scheme twist, crap.
Which in this case, the scheme twist, if you're in the bank, which the Doombot
was,
you gain 2 bystanders.
2 bystanders.
So now you're looking at it going, okay, now it's at 7. Oh crap! Now what do we do? And then next turn, scheme twist. so now he's at 8, and we're going, well, crap. No, at this point in the game, there's no way we can have 8 fight.
Yeah.
So this guy's gonna be gone,
and he just leaves.
And that's what happened. So now we lost 5 bystanders right off the bat, and we're already in a losing situation before the game barely even started.
We pulled a couple low-end villains after that, and they just kind of started to stack up. There was no more scheme twists.
Yeah.
And
For
people
like
started
a while.
We pulled it out.
People started to draw Spider-Mans. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But
That is like the...
I only got 1 Spider-Man the entire game.
I'm about to say, if anybody had Spider-Man, it was me.
No, it's the 2 of you.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Rogue.
Spider-Man and Gambit.
I had 1 Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
Hawkeye.
Gambit, Rogue. You had all the
Alright.
Hawkeyes.
I was trying.
Gambit.
I surprisingly did decent just building off of the rogues.
So at the end of the day, we beat Dr. Doom. We got rid of him 4 times. What do you have, 33 points?
33.
And I wound up with like 36. So I won. Justin was second.
I had 27, so...
I had 29.
So
I was last.
It was actually a pretty close game.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. You've played a good many deck building games at this point.
Yes.
In your opinion, what separates Legendary from, say, a DC or a Dominion or an Ascension, something like that? Some other, what we would think of as a standard deck building game.
Well, most of the other deck building games I've actually ever played, it's always been 100%, pretty much 100% competitive.
Right.
We're all each trying to better up, get all the good cards and whatnot. This, however, is one of the games where we literally can sit there and go, "Yeah, screw it. Who just wants to beat the bad guy? We all agree. Let's do it."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be 100% cooperative if we wanted it to be.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like about it. Now, the Aliens version that came after this, as one of their spinoffs, they decided to go ahead and make it 100% cooperative because there's no way to be half those aliens by yourself. And so, but back to Legendary.
And to differentiate, there is Legendary, which is the semi-cooperative deck building game, and then there's Legendary Encounters, which is the totally cooperative deck building
That's
game.
the difference.
I haven't played Encounters,
Yes.
by the way.
So that's the game that I played once.
No, you have played Encounters because you let me die. Alien is
Alien
Legendary
Encounter. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just saying Legendary. But does Legendary have a version that's completely cooperative, like an impossible mode or anything like that?
Like
There's-
regular Legendary?
Yeah.
Regular Legendary has extra modes that I could do. I mean, they do have in their rulebooks to do stuff like that. I just never dabbed into it.
Okay.
I mean, the only cool thing about this one is, unlike other deck building games I've ever played, this one actually has a one-player mode where I can go against the villain by myself.
Yeah,
They have rules for
okay.
that.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I know certain games like Arkham Horror where you can do it solo and it's actually absurdly easy to beat the game by yourself. How hard is it to beat the game solo on Legendary?
Nope, the difficulty is about the same regardless of whether you're playing by yourself or with 5 people. To be honest, though, the base set with 5 people can be extremely hard to beat, especially if we're trying to be competitive at the same time, because we each want that Spider-Man or we each want that Rogue, and we're all sitting there fighting each other. It's too much to the point where the villain's just like done, and of course when you go about 3 people, 4 people, it's possible. We're at that level where we can do it. Now, as expansions came along, they gave us extra ways to gain more fight, gain recruit a little more easily with like the Infinity Gems and stuff like that, and all the other little tiddly bits and artifacts that, shoot, I could do a 5-person game and the game still runs as smooth as if it was a 3-person game.
Let me ask you a question, because I think it's a very good question Josh brought up. Would you say would it be fair to say Legendary, just the base set?
Yes.
So you can go 1 to 5 players. Mm-hmm. Does it scale? I mean, I think the game scales very well, but it doesn't scale as well cooperatively as it does competitively.
No.
Like, so you can play the game competitively, and to me, the sweet spot to play competitively is like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Which I think is the sweet spot for the game.
Period.
But you can play competitively. I think if you play less than, if you play it like 2 or 3, it's a little dicey. But and like 4 is probably the sweet spot, 4 to 5 for competitive play, and then if you're playing cooperatively, or sorry, I think 4 is the sweet spot. If you're playing cooperatively, I think the fewer people you have, to me, the harder it is.
It can be because
That's just me.
It's because, well, actually, it's kind of the opposite because you do realize every turn we have to flip the villain stack.
Right.
The whole town, if we're unable to beat any of the villains that walk across with 5 people, city's already full.
Sure.
So at that point, if we're somehow getting screwed for cards in the hero side to be able to fight back, boom, somebody escapes, boom, someone escapes, and that could actually work towards the scheme a lot.
Yeah.
And that could screw us over real quick early on. 2 to 4, anywhere from 2 to 4, going back and forth, you're already going through your deck.
You're going through a deck faster.
You're going through your deck a lot faster. Now you have your opportunities. Now you at least have a couple cards that you may be able to fight back with.
To me personally, it may just be my experience. When I've played it cooperatively, the more players, to me, it's been a better game. But that's my own personal experience. I think the sweet spot for this is probably 3 to 4 people.
Yes.
I've played it with 5. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
No.
Yeah. First time I played was with 5 people. It was a bucket of rough.
Yeah.
I mean, Loki basically stole our sack lunches.
Yeah.
Well,
Every single one of us.
It was Loki.
Actually, one of the funniest things, though, I talk about a randomizer. The randomizer I have has a bit of a smart system to it, which I can scale up or down depending on how we want the game to go.
Mm-hmm.
I scale it up, the game is in our favor for the most part. I scale it down, now we have a bit more of a challenge because it's gonna try and give us what we need for the fight, but not necessarily the synergy.
That is one thing you
And
have to
so-
be about with the game.
Yes, because here's the problem. We have Dr. Doom. He says during his Master Strikes, when that pops up, if we don't have a tech hero in our hand, we lose 2 cards back on top of our decks.
Mm-hmm.
If we decide to put heroes in, and not a single one of them are tech, we're in trouble.
Right.
The Master Strike is always going to hurt us every single time.
Yeah.
Same thing with Loki. If you don't have somebody with a strength, you don't have a strength hero, we're in trouble. Magneto, you don't have an X-Men, you're in trouble. And so that becomes where, okay, how do we build something that works? Now, I think we've dabbed one time doing doing themes or
We did. We actually sat down one time, and we'll get into this probably more as we get to play the expansions. And it's something that I think...
No, when we did the theme, it was the base set.
Was it just the base
set?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's actually really cool because one of the things you can do is you can customize to replicate something that happened in the Marvel Universe. So in our particular case, we needed 5 heroes.
Oh, I know.
We did
the
new Fantastic Four. So we played against Doctor Doom, but the Fantastic Four was Spider-Man, Hulk, Ghost Rider. No, we had Marvel Knights. Ghost Rider and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books at one point, they were the Fantastic Four. It was very briefly, but they did.
I had the second expansion at that time.
90s comics.
That's right, I did have one expansion at the time.
But we did that, and I think we did like either Iron Fist or somebody as the last hero.
And
just
actually,
had some street level hero.
along the theme level with the Guardians expansion, current Guardians lineup, you could put the Thing in it, because he is actually a current member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comic book.
I love where you can sit there and go, well, let's play with this team. Let's play with the original X-Men. And you can, because Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Beast, Archangel, they're all there.
Yeah.
So you can customize it that way. To me, I think any game like this that has this many options, because you will not play the same game of Legendary twice.
Nope.
No.
Right.
A game that has this many options, I think a randomizer is a must.
Yes.
But you best be careful with it. It best be a smart one, because if it's not, it will bone you. Like you said, like if you play against Magneto, you have to have an X-Man to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have no X-Men, you auto lose.
Pretty much.
You look at the lineup and go, Captain America, Thor, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Ghost Rider. GG, he won. Let's play again.
Exactly.
That's the point where Magneto goes, why are you people even here?
Yeah.
So I think the thing I like about it is mostly I felt like the difficulty of the game. Just like in the beginning, we were absolutely fucked. Like we were just, we were like,
bad.
There was no nice way of putting that. It was literal, just tone.
We looked
ass.
up.
Like, oh, guess we're gonna have to play again.
Yeah, like we're already contemplating, are we just gonna set this back up and go again? But at the same time, it kind of curved off. Like even though in the beginning it was like bam, bam, just constant hitting us in the face, we still had the time to kind of build up just a little bit, just enough, and it was close at one point. I mean, it was really close. To being
It was like a Marvel movie.
But see, that's why I said like the more people you have is where the true difficulty lies. Mm-hmm. Because if it was just me and Mike going at it, we might have actually had a shot before anything actually possibly threw out there.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
And with more players now, we haven't, because we never even got through our whole decks before. Whoop, there went those 5 bystanders.
Yeah,
and so
we even had to at the point of the game, we got down to where it was one hero was left in the hero pile, or the hero deck.
Yes.
And so we just all agreed we won't buy anything because we didn't want to lose after making it so far, really. It's just...
Well, it was kind of one of those things where there was 2 good cards left. We had 3 cards left in the deck, and I'm thinking, well, if we can get those 2 really good cards, the rest is garbage.
Yeah. Dennis, you have not played much in the way of deck building games. You have experience with Legendary Encounters, so you knew the basics of how this game worked. What did you think of Marvel Legendary?
Oh, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I think with card games versus miniature games, card games are so much easier to pick up. Like they're so much faster. All the rules are there. They're not overly convoluted. There's not so much stuff to learn. So it's really nice to just break out a deck building game and just put it on the table and have a bunch of friends play with it.
To be fair, the setup and breakdown time of Legendary, we could have played a game of Infinity.
This
true.
if there's a downside to Legendary, it's a bear to set up and a bear to break
down.
Well,
it wasn't that much. I mean, it's. I don't think the setup is any longer than, say, a miniatures game. Like getting out all the terrain and all the miniatures and putting them all back. I mean,
because the setup is simple. I pop up the app. I go, how many players have we got?
Right.
What expansions do we want to go with? All right. Click. All right. We need these heroes. We need this. Somebody shuffle this. Somebody shuffle that. Boom. We're done. I mean, the problem is breaking it down takes a little longer because now
you have to separate it.
I'm like DC where I just go scoop, toss in. It's all right. Here's Gambit. Make sure I got all 14 of him. Here's this.
And if you don't have someone who breaks it down properly, you got to go back and double check.
Later on. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's just I think that's where it comes in. Like, really, the breakdown time, it just seems like a long time, I feel like. Because the game is kind of long. You're done, you're like, you want to just, you just want to move on to the next thing, and you really can't do that.
Well, one time I did do that, because I was just like, you know what, forget it. We're ready for the next game. I'll just deal with this when I get home.
It's like, I could do that, yeah.
But
then you get home.
But well, the only difference is if we were like, hey, who wants to play a second game? Then I kind of do need to separate it and figure out, okay, who do I need?
Yeah.
And it's like,
I've played Sentinels of the Multiverse, which is another deck building.
Well, it's not deck building; it's a fixed card game.
Oh, a fixed card game.
Yeah.
Which is, it's comparable. I think,
in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, but you don't get the deck building aspect where your deck gets better and better and better.
Which seemed to be something you were really digging, because by the time the game ended, you were basically drawing your entire deck every turn.
That was pretty fun.
Oh, you're playing a Hawkeye deck.
No,
No!
I was playing Gambit Spider-Man.
he had the Gambit Spider-Man combo with a few rogues, and he was just like,
with a few
bam,
rogues.
bam,
Like,
bam,
The copy
bam.
rogue, too, and it was like, boom.
He was just
every
throwing
time.
out cards at that point.
Gambit, rogue copies. Gambit, rogue copies. Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
It was fantastic. And then he had stupid amounts of, like,
And then he got the
monies
really
or
good.
whatever.
Then he got the really good Thor, where he can use his recruit as fight. And so here he is, just going, I got all of this, and I can kick as much ass as I want.
I have 15 recruit. No, I have 15 fight. Oh, awesome.
Oh, okay.
So we'll take a look here, a little specific analysis. We'll start with Chris. It's his game. Looking just at the base set, one thing you really like. We'll come back for the negative. So what to you is the best part of Marvel Legendary? If you're going to try to sell it to somebody on just one aspect, what is it?
On one aspect,
Yep.
I just like the. To be honest, I just like the Marvel Universe in general. I mean, that's what attracted me to it to begin with. But if I had to pick a mechanic or something like that to go with it, it's the fact that if you want to be competitive with it, go for it. If you want to be cooperative, go for it. Your choice. You can do either way, and it just works perfectly. So it fits to whichever side you want, how you want to play it. So,
Justin?
The thing that I like, I don't think it'd sell the game. I don't know if it would sell the game. It depends on the person you're talking to. But what I like is the difficulty of the game. It's not something like, I feel like when I went into DC, it was simple. I got in. It was easy. I felt like I understood the entire game first round. And granted, there's a lot of in-depth stuff that you start to learn as you
I've
play
watched
more.
you play. You do not understand it. From the right
That's how you feel. That's how you feel when you. That's how you feel when you finish. And I know I didn't, but that's how you feel when you finish the first one. But with Legendary, I feel like it's difficult. Like the first game I went in, I was like, man, I really need to figure my shit out, or I'm gonna be horrible. And that's when I started. Then you start focusing on synergies, and then that's all like the Spider-Man combo, just straight up Spider-Man or the Spider-Man Rogue and Gambit. I mean, I like the difficulty of it. That's what attracts me to it.
I do agree. I think it's a much more combo mechanic laden game than yes by far.
Yeah.
Dennis?
I agree with Justin. There's depth in this game. Like you can play it the first time, and then you kind of like what I was doing was just randomly choosing shit and bring it into my deck to see what it does, and then at the end I kind of figured out, hey, wait, this stuff works together in some way, and so I think we could do a lot more about it. And with a game like this, with so many options, it's really nice to be able to figure out different combinations. The other thing I liked about it was that there's so many options that you can play this game over and over and over again, and it doesn't get super boring. Like, for example, I played Munchkin with my kids, and after a while, it's just like, okay, well, I figured out the combo, and I just win that way, whatever. It's just, but with this game, I mean, there's so many different options that your go-to combos aren't always going to be there, so there's going to be something new. What I didn't really like about this game was that with the more players you have, the more downtime you have. So you don't really do anything on anybody else's turn. Like you can chat or whatever, but like if you're playing with 5 people, that's 4 people's turn that you're just kind of sitting there.
Twiddling
You can. I mean, if you're a nice person, you will talk to everybody else. But you could also just sit there and like stare off into space. You could do that, and at some point, if somebody's got a lot of synergies and they're trying to figure it out, then it may get a little bit slow.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the game, it's a game that I would be in favor of actually even playing with my family. I mean, it would be a lot of fun.
Josh, you've played your fair share of Legendary. What's something you really like? Something that you're going to sell this on?
One of the things I like about it is the commitment to actually causing synergy between new expansions and recent Marvel crossover events.
Yeah.
As in, like, there's a Secret Wars set. That, I believe was there an Infinity set?
Like an Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet? Sort of, because that was...
Oh, no, I mean, like, they actually had, like, a crossover called Infinity, which was kind of the next big thing.
Not yet.
But,
At least not yet, anyways. But
they've done Secret Wars Part 1, Part 2 just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
I have to go find
Which, I
it.
mean, coincidentally, they just finished Secret Wars, so...
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And, I mean, I love the thematic, like, aspect, which is basically, like, you can play, like, actual X-Men. You can actually do, like, the what-if X-Men, where you put Avengers in the X-Men.
Right.
The one thing I don't like about it is that, at least personally, hellacious learning curve from the jump. I mean, that first game, I played like Dennis did, where I'm just like, okay, I think this is right, and then it was completely wrong, and I basically nothing worked. Nothing worked.
To be fair, when I picked this game up, I didn't read a goddamn card before I said let's play. Now, based on when me and Mike first played, it was like, cool, this is an awesome game. But after that, every time I picked up an expansion and whatnot, it was like, I busted out the cards, I saw who was in it, and then I learned along with everyone else.
Yeah.
Here's the new stuff. All right, let's go. Let's play.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, I broke the cardinal rule of deck building games. I didn't RTFC.
Read the
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Justin, so if there's something you don't like about Legendary, if there's something that's detrimental, what is it?
It's definitely the length of the game at times. If you get into like a really, like he said, like Dennis mentioned, if you get into like if a bunch of people are running synergies, and you're running like a 4-man or even possibly a 5-man, you're getting into long turns, really long turns. It's not just drop, and then move on. It is, hold on, if I mess up one fucking card, this whole thing falls apart. So it's like, and it's like, and so you're sitting there reading twice over, 3 times over, and sure, once you get into it more,
to
I'm
be
sure.
fair, DC has that rough same hiccup. Because at the beginning, yes, it's drop this, here you go, I can pick up this card and whatnot. But once you start getting the cards you want and synergies immediately show up, I go, alright, I played this card, I draw this. Oh, well, crap. Actually, I meant to play this before this. And that always happens in a deck building game at some point.
And depending on the group you're playing with, will dictate how that goes. Like,
Dick is the key word.
Yeah. I myself, like, if I'm playing one of these games and I screw up something like that, I've played enough card games over the years. I'm just like, screw it, it's on me. I don't take it back. But if somebody else sits there and does the same thing, then I generally don't have a problem with him going, dude, don't you think you should have played this instead of this? Or that? Like, we played during the game and you were like, you said, well, I have 4 fight. And I'm like, well, shouldn't you beat the hand engine? Or I have 4 recruit. I was like, well, shouldn't you just beat the hand engine and have 5? Like, oh yeah, probably should. You know, things like that. So it's going to depend on who you're playing with. If you're in, I mean, I suppose if you're in an uber competitive environment, which the only place I know of those exists for these games are like conventions and crap. So, and even then, the big conventions where they do tournaments around. But no, I think I know exactly what you're talking about though. Just that downtime between turns that you.
Overall, I'm talking about like the length
or the speed of a single turn or the game.
Because the overall game, I don't care how long that runs. I mean, that can run forever as long as I'm enjoying it, which I do enjoy the game. There's no part of the game I don't enjoy. I love watching other people build these decks and make these stupid synergies that last forever. But like, that's what I like about deck building games. If there wasn't synergy, then I wouldn't play the fucking game. It'd be boring. But like, it's just that length in between, and and seriously, one person is just shut down for an entire, like, if you are having a conversation, that person's not talking to you. They're looking at their cards, trying to make sure they play it right. And and some people might not see that as a negative. Some people might actually see that as a positive thing. They want those long turns, those lengthy, they want to have time to sit there and read their card or read the board. And so it just depends on how you like to play. I'm fast. I like shit to
flow. I like, generally, when I have my turn, I want to play whatever hand I got, make it happen, and then just move on.
Yeah. I want it to be flowing.
Something that you don't care for Legendary.
Something we discussed earlier was the cleanup phase. If I didn't have y'all helping me out, making sure Gambit was here, blah blah blah, we're here. I mean, remember y'all were sitting telling me to get out the way so you could sign the table. Here's me going.
Yeah.
If I had to do all by myself, I would have looked at her like, y'all can kiss my ass. So, I mean, the cleanup phase is kind of a bit of a downside because you want to keep everything separate because when you get ready for your next game, you got to be able to go, okay, I need Cap, I need this, I need Rogue again, blah, blah. You know, I don't need to sit there and go, son of a beach, I got to make sure I got 14 of these. And
that would suck so
yeah,
bad.
It would take forever for your next game to go through. Yeah. And so, it's one of those things that's kind of tedious in that sense. Mm-hmm. And that's the only downside I personally have with it. But, like I said, I got a bunch of good friends who are like, all right, there's already 14 of these, you're good to go, blah, blah. So all I have to do is pick up, slide it back in the spot.
Yeah.
So...
My only downside, really, to the game, because if I sat here and said anything good that I like about the game, I'm just simply going to parrot everything else that's already been said. I think the game is extremely thematic. I love the fact that it is either cooperative or competitive, whichever one you want it to be. I like the fact that it is a more difficult, thinky type of deck building game. The one thing that annoyed me when we first played the original game in the original base set, because the cards in the base set all have the same artwork for each hero. Yeah. So every Thor card has the same artwork. In the later sets, each type of that hero has a different artwork. Oh, cool. So you actually can look at it and go, "Oh, that's not the same one I've already bought." Whereas there are 2 Hawkeyes that are tech heroes. But
same hero, different cards.
In the regular game, they have the same artwork. Unless you read them, you don't know one's different from the other. Whereas in the newer sets, each version has their own unique artwork.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point to make too.
Yeah.
Because there was several times where I had to sit there and like before I had memorized this color did this,
right?
That I had to like read the same.
Well, see,
cards.
that's the problem. A lot of them have the same color.
There are 2 Hawkeyes that are both black.
Oh, okay.
But they're 2 different Hawkeyes. One of them has a bonus if you play an Avenger before it. The other one has a bonus if you play a tech hero before it.
Yeah,
didn't even notice that.
Because
I didn't play many Hawkeyes.
Because the Hulk is all green.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them. So
but there's a bunch of different versions of him.
Yep.
So final thoughts. Is this one you're going to pitch to somebody? Is this one that you would be willing to drop your hard-earned money on? Since we already have, like from our last episode, Justin's already scouring the interwebs for where he can find Infinity stuff.
It's going to happen. It's going
to happen.
Like, it'll happen. There is no scouring. This shit's getting bought.
So, Dennis?
I'm putting it on my my Christmas wish list.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't think I get legendary. Well, here's the reason. I don't think I get legendary because I think I would need somebody to set it up for me. Like what Mike said and what Chris was saying. It's tough because sometimes you get these terrible matchups and you're just going to auto lose. So you got to have somebody who knows what's going on to kind of set up
actually where the Smart app helps.
Yeah.
There's 2 legendary apps right now. One's like 99 cents, but the 99-cent one literally you can take out heroes like it's really like in depth. Mm-hmm. This one is more like, all right, I want to make sure that it has enough synergy with like each of the characters. I want to make sure that we're able to beat the villain with the characters we got. So I can either go 50-50 where we have a 50-50 shot of actually winning and everything synergizing. I can do 100%, and chances are we're going to rip through the villain without a problem. Or I can make it a little less, and we're like, okay, now we're up in the difficulty because I'm not sure if this is going to work.
Yeah,
so it's like,
but at least it keeps you from auto losing.
Right.
Yes.
And you can adjust the difficulty, which is really cool. So I think I might try and pick up the Lord of the Rings one because my whole family likes Lord of the Rings.
Is not legendary.
That's
it's
not
legendary.
No, legendary is just Marvel. Right now it's Marvel, Aliens for Legendary Encounters, and Predator.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I've played the
I do
Aliens
want to play
one.
that.
That was
Ryan
really
McAllister actually has both the Alien Encounters and the Predator one, which we did dive into Alien vs. Predator, which, by God, I want to kill him. Because that was ridiculously hard.
But I would definitely Well, now that you say that Lord of the Rings isn't on there, I would definitely put Legendary on my Christmas list, on my wish list.
Nice.
See if I can get somebody to buy that for me.
There you go. Josh?
I do enjoy the game. I will, anytime anyone says, do you want to play it? Sure, let's play it. I probably would not shell out money to buy it just because I have a limited amount of money to spend on card games,
sure.
And pretty much Sentinels is my jam. Every Sentinels expansion that comes out.
Yep.
And then also I like the more expensive standalone board games.
Sure.
However, but I mean, I definitely am interested in playing the other theme decks. Really want to play the Guardians of the Galaxy expansion.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
The Philly gems are a bit.
Well, I had a profound love for Legendary from the first time I played it.
Profound love.
Profound. Like, it was, like, the first time I played it, I was like, this fucking game right here. I don't know, I just loved it. And I think, I totally would buy it, but I think I would want to get it not just as the standalone by itself. If I'm going to get this game, it's going to be one of those, oh, look at me, I just got a little bit extra on my paycheck this week. I'm buying the fucking expansions. Like, I'm getting this, I'm getting this and something else. Like,
you're going all in.
I'm going all in. I'm not going to just, because the base game, I could see where the flaws were, and I would definitely, and I've played it with the expansions. That's how I was introduced to the game. Right. That's how I like the game. Mm-hmm. That is what I want. I want those expansions.
The thing about me is, yes, I bought these, so obviously I'm heavily invested in it. Mm. The thing about it is, had I waited till now to get the game, probably not, because unless I had, like I said, my paycheck looked like, I make $1,000. On that paycheck where I can dump a ton of money in this, because over time this was, oh god, right now if you want all the expansions, you're looking at almost $4.
Well, you're in $100 just with the 2 base boxes.
Yeah, 120 with the 2 base boxes.
Wow.
Okay. 2 base boxes are 60 each, and so the first expansion was 40. So there you go, 160, and then
so 20 a piece after that.
20 a piece after that for 4 other ones. So that's another 80. Haven't got Secret War. Secret Wars was another 40. So
and Secret Wars Part 2, I think, is another 40.
40. So you're
it's small chunk of change.
Yes, to try and get it all at once.
Yeah.
I was lucky at the time when I really was like gung ho about it. Was like, oh, I got to get this now.
But it was the ground floor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like ground zero. So I'm like, yeah, let's get this. So $60 here, $40 there, $20 there. It was much easier to get into it.
It is, yeah.
And
I think I would split it.
You could still spread it.
Now you could spread it. Now, granted, if you were just getting the villain side, like everything villains, that's only $80 between this and the one expansion it has. And then the hero side, pretty much everything else. So
that's what I was thinking was starting, because that's the first thing that we played, was because at the time the only thing you had was villains, and you had regular legendary. And that was at one of your parties.
But no, if he had these 2 boxes, he had a crap ton of expansions. He's got everything as it has come out.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, I don't know if I would say like all the expansions. I mean, I would want some expansions. I don't want just a base box. I want to add something else.
I mean, you can, because actually, realistically, I did not get Dark City, which was the second expansion, until after I had Fantastic Four. Yeah, until after actually I had Fantastic Four. So, which was one of the $20 sets at the time. So, there's a lot of mechanics that came in Dark City that I never dived into until here's Fantastic Four, where it has those mechanics plus what Fantastic Four came out with. It's
like me with DC. I love the DC deck building game. I get everything that comes out for DC, but I got in on the ground floor. But
exactly.
At this point, there's like 4 base sets, and 3 crossover packs, and 2 crisis packs, and the rival, and so there's a crap ton of stuff.
I will actually say, as far as speaking of Crisis, is that I actually enjoy Legendary's cooperative aspect more than I enjoy Crisis's cooperative aspect.
To me, DC is the better competitive game. This is the better cooperative one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, my personal final thoughts, I love Legendary. The only reason I don't own it is because Chris does.
Actually, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Because
that's why you don't own DC.
That's why I don't own DC. Because I can just go to his house and be like, let's play. It's like...
But there's a lot of depth to it. It's the depth in DC, which we'll talk about on a later episode because pretty much everybody here likes it. Mm-hmm. The depth in DC does not come from a variety. The depth in DC comes from there's so much crap and you never know what's going to pop up.
Yeah.
The depth in this, the depth in this is like the depth in Sentinels, because in Sentinels of the Multiverse you have up-teen heroes, and you'll play any combination of them, and by the time you play every possible combination, you're 80.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, I think I did the math one time, and I know it was over 500,000 combinations, over 500,000 combinations of, if you play 5-player Sentinels, and you go through every environment, every possible combination of environment, villain, and hero. It's a ridiculous number.
One of these days, me, you, and Rich need to get together and play Battle of the Legacies.
Oh, and have Young Legacy, Greatest Legacy, and Finest Legacy
against Iron Legacy. Yeah,
kiss my ass.
So the funny thing is, though, is the other Legacies, none of them were going to be Iron Legacy's nemesis.
Yeah, that's all well and good.
Yeah.
Iron Legacy will still stomp a mud
hole.
Sentinels is another one that's on tap coming up real soon. We'll do Sentinels the same way we're doing Legendary, where we'll start with just the base game and then add to it.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what is the first Legendary expansion?
Dark City.
Dark City. So, the next time we play Legendary, we'll do mostly Dark City with some of the base stuff mixed in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be the next time we play Legendary. When that's going to be damned if I know. We'll figure that out in probably a month, our real time.
Yep.
But in the meantime, hope you have enjoyed the second episode of Rage Quit Radio on the YouTubes. I believe the phrase that is bantied about a great deal on YouTube is share, like, subscribe. So yeah, please let your friends know. Please like the show. Please subscribe to the ECS Network, and please, please, please give us some feedback. We don't block the comment section. We ain't shy. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know, what games you would like to see us play or hear us play. We are dabbling with trying to get enough stuff to do some video stuff. So who knows? There might actually be some gameplay show up on the channel at some point. But
if you like that kind of thing.
Justin over here has made grand promises of milk and honey, so we're hoping that we can wind up with video.
I said I have a camera, and shit went south.
And well, that was as good as it got.
That's all we needed. But until then, folks, let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to play. As we've said before, what games we play is limited by our income. So if there's a game you want us to play, you want us to take a look at, ask. Somebody around here might have it. We might be able to get it on the show and try it out. If none of us has it, we'll tell you that none of us has it, and maybe it'll be something we can take a look at. Maybe somebody can get it.
Maybe they'll donate to us.
Let's not go that far. Folks, until next time, this is Mike.
Dennis.
Chris.
Justin.
Josh.
And we'll see you next time on Rage Quit Radio.
Are you sure?
You motherfucker.
Well, that's a fair question. I mean, I probably won't be on the next podcast for like 6 months in my track record.
Well, if we have the old Rage Quit Radio track record, we won't have the podcast.